Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, our microphone works this morning. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Desert. My name is Mel Wilkinson, and I am pleased to be your worship associate on this beautiful, hot Sunday morning. We are happy you are here with us today, whether you are here in the sanctuary or watching online. Please remember when we leave, wave, because we have some people who are at home, love to see us. We acknowledge that we gather on the ancestral and unceded territories of the Agua Caliente Band of the Cahuilla people, who have stewarded this land through many lifetimes prior to our arrival. We strongly commit to growing in our understanding and our relationship with this land, our dependence on it, and with the people who inhabited it before our arrival. As we work together, we strive to nurture each other, to honor the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And what that means to all of you is that all of you are welcome. And we are very glad that you're here with us today. If you'll take just a moment and silence all your cell phones and your ringy-dingies, we can continue. If your race, culture, religion, financial well-being, size, gender identity, or your sexual orientation is different, then you are not alone here. We celebrate the diversity you bring, and we look forward to sharing your life with ours. What does matter is that you are here now. So come grow with us as we commit together to embrace the rich and beautiful diversity of the world. I invite all of you to help us build a community centered in justice, in compassion, and today let's focus our energies on love. Again, please come and join us and for coffee after our service. If you're wanting to get us to know us a little better, our website is uucod.org. And if you'd like to sign up and receive our newsletter, simply write to admin, that is ADMIN, at uucod.org. This morning, I've asked our very healthy Dean Bramlett to come light the BioPOC candles this morning. Yay! And follow along. We light these candles in solidarity with Black, Indigenous, and other people of color as we journey together toward spiritual wholeness. May we, as a beloved community, work to dismantle racism and all forms of discrimination. May we live out our values so that justice, dignity, and equity in all prevail. Thank you. As we take a deep breath this morning, take a deep breath. There you go. Julie will ring the Tibetan bowl, and Joel will play our music for centering.
My name is Julia Alberg-Burbank. Outside of these walls, I am an elementary school principal. Go Longhorns. But here, I am a proud member of this congregation. But before we begin, I want to tell you what I tell my students and staff every single day. I am so glad you are here. It wouldn't be the same without you. Welcome to this sacred space where we strive to place love at the center. Today we're going to explore the power of love to heal and sustain us And we recognize that on a day like today, the emotions we carry into this room are vastly different. Whatever you are carrying in your heart this morning, please hear me. This covenantal community was built to hold that weight. We don't ask you to bring a perfect, unbroken heart. We only ask that you bring your authentic self, knowing that you are worthy of love exactly as you are. Come, let us worship together. Going to do our opening hymn. If you would like to stand, you are welcome to. If you are able, please feel free to stay seated. 'Tis a gift to be simple.
Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And it lives and the peace just right, in a valley of love and delight. And true mercy is gained, bound to bend we can't be ashamed. Turn, turn, where your delight is wheeling, turning will come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. With ourselves in the place just right, to a valley of love and delight. As Julia lights the chalice this morning, please follow along. May love be the spirit of this church. May the quest for truth be its sacrament, and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, seek knowledge and freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. For a couple of years now, I've been watching the adventures of Jackie and Shadow. How many of you have been watching the unfolding saga of these two majestic eagles? Yes, a lot of hands. I've been watching through the upsets of losing a few chicks along the way, and somehow they keep going, doing the nature thing, and continue to raise more little eaglets and gently teaching them how to be an eagle. I remember when one of the chicks got stuck on a lower branch. He was trying to fledge and took off out of the nest, then stopped flapping and landed on a lower branch with no idea of how to get back. Through gentle coaxing and a little bit of tough love, the little guy made it back to the nest. After a couple of days, he must have been hungry. In the relationship between the parents, the roles are clearly defined. Papa does the grocery shopping and the security when needed, and Mama does the hard job of sitting, keeping the chicks warm and cozy throughout all types of weather. Did you know that an eagle has a little patch of skin on their bellies that has no feathers and is kind of a bald spot? This is not only to keep the chicks warm, but it tells the parents what type of health the chicks are in. Earlier this year, Jackie had laid 2 eggs. They were sat upon by both parents. Then suddenly one day, Jackie and Shadow left the nest empty. They did not protect it from the other birds, especially the ravens that populate the area and are voracious attackers. Within hours, those 2 eggs were broken open and finished off by the other birds. The expert opinion was that neither of the eggs were viable and that neither would have survived. Very soon, Jackie had laid 2 more eggs, and they hatched and became the baby eaglets Luna and Sandy. When they were hatched, they were called bobbleheads because their necks couldn't hold their heads up, and they were always bonking each other. It was very cute. Now, the babies aren't such small chicks anymore and are looking more and more like their parents. Soon they'll fledge and leave the nest, exploring and making their own way in the world of eagles. Because people are willing to go into the rough areas of the world, take their cameras and find wild animals to film and to celebrate, we're able to view samples of mama love in the animal world. The mama lion slapping the daddy lion after he slapped the cub. The chimpanzee who earlier this year was abandoned and found refuge in a sock puppet, clinging to it like it was his mama. In the human world, I only need to go as far as my own family to see how fierce mama love can be. I've watched how my daughter-in-law works tirelessly bringing up her 2 daughters, very successfully. I know she's not the only passionate woman raising kids with her husband today, and we only have to look around us and we'll see mama love. But with both parents being our granddaughter's parents, we saw firsthand the power of that love. And we are so fortunate to get to be part of our lives with them as they grow into their future and become generous members of society. I think we've all benefited from mama love, whether it came from a woman who has given birth to us or was the woman who was instrumental in our lives, teaching us how to live and how to love. I hope you've all had the chance to experience the feeling of mama love. When we are taken under the wings of love and protected from all the elements, the meanies and the bullies, when the trials and tribulations of life get us down, may mama with love be in your shadow. You know, Reverend Ian usually starts off these things. And I'm not Reverend Ian. By any stretch of the imagination, I do not have his voice. But if you'll join me, I think we can make a tune. Hold my hope, hold my trembling, hold my heart, teach me to love. Hold my hope, hold my trembling, hold my heart, teach me to love. One more time. Hold my hope, hold my trembling, hold my heart, teach me to love.
Let us settle into this quiet moment together. I invite you to be comfortable in your seat. Maybe you take a moment for a nice tall spine with the crown of your head reaching up towards the ceiling. Maybe you're able to soften your jaw, relax your eyes. As we center our hearts, I invite you to silently repeat this phrase of loving kindness, allowing it to flow inward toward yourself, outward toward our community, and finally toward the wider world. May I know that I am worthy of love exactly as I am. May I know that I am worthy of love exactly as I am. May I know that I am worthy of love exactly as I am. Spirit of life, hold our hope, hold our hearts, and teach us to be love.
And if you'll rise and join me in spirit of life. Do we usually rise? No? Okay. We do today. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the strains of compassion. Oath in my wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, set me free. Spirit of light, come to me, come to me. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí. El corazón, cántale tu compasión. Justicia de la vida, arraigame, libérame, ente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí.
So teacher Tara Brock tells us that the deep inquiry in any moment is, how might this serve more love? If we can keep that in mind today as we walk through this talk, how might this serve more love? When we talk about mama love, we often start with the Hallmark version, the soft lighting, a rocking chair, and the faint scent of lavender. But if we're being honest, mama love in the wild looks a lot more, and I speak from experience, like a person frantically trying to find a matching lid to a Tupperware container while simultaneously explaining why we don't put Legos in your sister's nose. It's fierce, it is messy, and it is occasionally powered by pure adrenaline, almost always supported by a diet of lukewarm coffee, or in my case, Diet Coke, and the crusts of other people's sandwiches because they refuse to eat them. However, in our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we say we place love at the center. It's the hub of our wheel. But love can be an abstract word. It's a big, floating concept. But mama love, however, is love with its boots on. It's love that shows up. Today, we're looking at that specific nurturing. I wrote sometimes bossy, but I'm going to say probably always bossy. Always fierce energy that is exactly the medicine our community needs, whether we are mothers or not. And before we go any further, I want to acknowledge that for many, Mother's Day, or the concept of a mother's love, isn't a simple walk in the park. For some, it's a walk through a minefield. Our third UU principle speaks to, quote, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth, end quote. Part of that acceptance is recognizing that for some of us, the word mother has a sharp edge. Maybe your relationship with your mom was a battlefield. Maybe she couldn't give you what you needed because her own cup was empty. Maybe you've spent years longing to be a mother and that door never opened. Or you've walked the devastating path of losing a child. Perhaps your relationship with a child is difficult. And what I'm here to tell you is if today feels heavy, or if you feel like an outsider to the traditional narrative of this day, please hear me. This space was built to hold that weight. We are a covenantal community. I don't ask you to believe in a perfect motherhood. There's no such thing. I am asking you to believe that you are worthy of love, regardless of your lineage or your labels. So let's not ignore the cracks in the heart. Let's look for the mama love that can flow into them. Now, my mama was a third-generation Irish American born into the Great Depression in Minnesota. She was the seventh of 8 children, a member of what we call the silent generation, and when she grew into a young woman, she married my dad, and they moved to downtown LA, smack dab downtown LA, and started their own large Catholic family. I am the youngest of 6. I think of her so often and try to picture the day she brought me home because it had to be so daunting. She had 5 kids, ages 15 to 9, and a newborn. And she probably lost her mind. Starting all over, and yet, fast forward to my own family. There's a 10-year gap between my 3 older kids and the youngest. So yes, I probably lost my mind too, as I allow those memories to come forward. Now I'm a Nana, and I have the privilege of observing my daughter and my daughter-in-law bring the fiercest, deepest, and most graceful love into the world. They are incredible mothers, and they do it so differently than I did, and it's beautiful and a privilege to watch. As Robin Wall Kimmerer states, all flourishing is mutual. It's through that mutuality of choosing fierce, chaotic, communal mama love that we will blossom together as a church community. Authentic community, available to us all and begs to be filled with this type of love, is described by Molly Finney Basquette in her book, How to Begin When Your World is Ending, in the following way. We recognize that community is a naturally therapeutic context that fosters maturation, healing, and growth for its members. Stubbornly loyal participants band together to provide stabilizing connections and correctives, and to bend together to provide stabilizing connections and correctives, and to offer support when personalities fragment or boundaries break down. Community is available to help us bind what is broken. The stubborn support and confrontation for growth is at the heart of our spirituality here. Mama love is so similar, and I have to tell you, I have experienced so many stabilizing connections among so many of you in our time as members of this community. I've been on the receiving end of the mama love from so many of you, and I thank you for that privilege. Now, to understand the grit of this kind of love, we turn to the patron saint of the messy kitchen, Irma Bombeck. She understood that the sacred isn't found in a cathedral, but usually hidden under a pile of laundry. She wrote a piece imagining God in the middle of creation, and it gives the spec sheet for this kind of radical care that we can extend to one another. And the story goes, the Lord was into his 6th day of overtime when the angel appeared and said, "You're doing a lot of fiddling around with this one. And the Lord said, have you read the spec sheet on this order? She has to be completely washable but not plastic, have 180 moving parts, all replaceable, run on black coffee and leftovers, have a lap that disappears when she stands up, a kiss that can cure anything from a broken leg to a disappointed love affair, and 6 pairs of hands. Angel shook her head and said, 6 pairs of hands? No way. It's not the hands that are causing me problems, said the Lord. It's the 3 pairs of eyes. 1 pair that sees through closed doors when she asks, what are you kids doing in there? When she already knows. Another here in the back of her head that sees what she shouldn't, but what she has to know. And of course, the ones here in the front that can look at a child who is goofed up and say, I understand and I love you, without uttering a word. So finally, the angel ran a finger across her cheek and declared, there's a leak. I told you you were trying to put too much in this model. It's not a leak, said the Lord. It's a tear. What's it for? It's for joy, sadness, disappointment, pain, loneliness, and pride. You are a genius, said the angel. The Lord looked somber and said, I didn't put it there. That last line is the kicker. I didn't put it there. That capacity for the tear, the empathy, the pride, the shared pain, it's not a biological byproduct. It's a spiritual orientation. If we define mama love by biology, we miss the miracle. I'm going to say that again. If we define mama love by biology, we miss the miracle. Mothering is a verb. It is an act of becoming the floor for someone else to stand on. And you don't need a birth certificate to do it. We see this verb in action all over the community. It's the person in the office who keeps a drawer full of snacks because they know someone's going to have a crisis later this afternoon. It's the community gardener who coaxes life out of the dirt, nurturing a stubborn desert plant with the same devotion that some give to a toddler. It's the elder who listens to a young person's anxieties about the world and offers that quiet sanctuary of a long view that says, we've survived before and we will find a way again. It's the social justice advocate who mothers the future, fighting for a climate policy that they will never live to see simply because they want the next generation to have a chance to breathe. It's our own care team members who bake one more meal or answer the next phone call. When you show up for someone else's broken heart, you are mothering. When you advocate for a neighbor whose voice is being drowned out, you are mothering. When you create a space where someone feels safe enough to finally stop performing and just be, you are tapping into that ancient, healing mama love. How does this heal us? In a world that feels increasingly fragmented, mama love is the connective tissue. Our society is suffering through a drought of care. We are lonely, we are overworked, and we are tired of being treated like data points instead of people. Mama love heals through attention. In the Bombeck quote, the mother has eyes in the back of her head. In a community, that means we notice when someone hasn't shown up for coffee hour in a while. Or we see your tears that you're blinking back during the hymn. It heals through inconvenience. Mama love is anything but convenient. It requires us to get off the couch, to drive the extra mile, to stay on the phone for 10 more minutes. But in those 10 minutes, we knit the world back together a little bit. So today we honor the biological mothers, the adoptive mothers, and the foster mothers who are in the thick of it. But we also honor the aunties, the uncles, the mentors, the fierce friends who carry that spec sheet in their hearts. We honor those who are currently mothering their own inner child, giving themselves the tenderness, the boundaries, and the washable but not plastic resilience they never received growing up. May we all leave here today a little more willing to mother our community. Let us be the ones who bring the metaphorical Tupperware, the literal listening ear, and the unwavering belief that no one, absolutely no one, is outside of the circle of our care. And when we put this kind of love at the center, we don't just have a congregation, we have a home. If you would like to join me in our closing hymn, My Life Flows On, and join our beautiful voices together.
My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the river far of him that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds that echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? But though the tempest round me roars, I know the truth that liveth. But though the darkness round me close, locks in the night is given. So take my inmost calm, but to the rock I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble when they hear the bells of freedom ringing, when friends and joys both far and near, how can I keep from singing? To prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends but shame are undefined, how can I keep from singing? This is the congregational news. The facility committee is pleased to announce that the doors have been updated. There are new little black bars on there, which allows us to log and unlock the building just the same as the old ones did. The need for this update was because the old ones had become, well, old and required more maintenance than we were comfortable with. For those of you who lock and unlock the doors, please do so gently. Things last longer with treated with respect, and we thank you. The hospitality committee invites everyone to the community room for their life-sustaining coffee and goodies. If you are unsure exactly where the community room, simply follow the rest of the herd. At this point in the service, allow me to thank the army of people that it takes to begin and end the service weekly. The hospitality crew, the welcoming crew, the greeters and ushers. Thank you to the AV crew, and also to the crew that are dedicated to cleaning the unmentionable places in the building, and all those who help getting the church ready for the following week. To our own Julia Alberg-Burbank for leading a wonderful service that spoke to our hearts on this Mother's Day Sunday. Thank you. Joel Baker is the most outstanding dude this morning, blessing us all with his virtuoso playing, allowing us to be taken into different places while music blesses our soul. I'd like to thank the prior to opening grand opening crew, which consists of Jerry Lamandu, for getting the church ready for our Sunday festivities. And the flowers today were donated by Pam Bebo, our superb church administrator, who wants us to honor all the women who have been mothers, who have been our mothers, who are no longer with us but in our hearts. There are many people who work tireless during the week to bring this service to you. The committees that meet, the people that come and play games, to do art, and many other things. And of course, the building itself requires maintenance. And so do our wonderful sacred grounds. So thank you all for making this magical morning happen. If you'll follow along with me, we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
As we leave this sacred space today, let us carry the warmth of this community out into the world that is suffering from a drought of care. May we all leave here a little more willing to mother our communities. Whether you are a biological parent, an auntie, an uncle, a mentor, or simply a fierce friend, remember that mothering is a verb. It is the act of becoming a floor for someone else to stand on. Let us put our boots on and offer the fierce, messy, and stubborn connection that knits our fragmented world back together again. Go out to love and serve the world.